All right, I'm coming at you. I'm going to talk about some of the questions y'all have had sent in, and I've produced this video answering some. I will do this again at the end of March and also before the final exam. So if you have a question, you want me to answer it, please send it in, and I'll be happy to do so. I'll send out another message on OpenISI before I do the next round. Let's go ahead and answer this month's question. The first question comes to us from Phil in Greenville. And he says, Mr. Mark, what are some good sources for us to use for econ beside the textbook? Phil, that's a great question. There are tons of sources out there. The simple fact is you can just hit Google and you're going to find thousands of sources. Problem is, not all the sources are good. And some of the sources that may be good, quite frankly, are boring. One I recommend tell students to use is the Crash Course series. You can find it on YouTube, Crash Course Economics. They have some great videos. Watch them. Could provide an extra, a different way of presenting it to help you understand some of the topics that we're covering in here. It's a great question, Phil. Thank you. Our next question comes from Brianne in Hardyville, South Carolina, right down there near the Georgia border. And Brianne asks, Mr. Mark, is our personal finance portfolio one big grade? Brianne, it's a great question. And the answer to your question is yes and no. The simple fact is it does count for a big percentage of your grade, but the fact is every individual assignment is graded individually. So I'm not just going to grade your personal portfolio one time. I'm going to grade each individual assignment, so you can have a part of it that you make really good, you can have a part of it you make really bad, but that's going to factor in to all of that will total a percentage of your grade. Kind of like your final exam is 20% of your grade. Your personal portfolio is going to be a percentage similar to that. So great question. Next, Will in Columbia ask, Mr. Mark, do you see the Gamecocks winning in Death Valley this fall? Will, I think you have a better chance of seeing Elvis performing in Williams-Brice Stadium before the home opener than you do of seeing South Carolina be victorious in Death Valley this year. Finally, Sarah from Walhalla writes in and asks, if we have an A in this class before the final exam, can we exempt? Sarah, I understand exactly why you wrote that. When I was in high school, some teachers let us exempt at our exams when we had an A. Others did not. Unfortunately, in this class, you cannot exempt. There's no exemption within this class or that I know of in virtual. But always a good question to ask. You never know when those policies may change. Sarah, the great thing is you live in the beautiful town of Walhalla. You're right next to the Blue Ridge Mountains, so while you do have to take the final exam, let's face it, you're very close to God's country. Listen, if y'all have any other questions, please send them to me. Let me know, and I'll put them on next month's video. In the meantime, guys, thank you for the hard work. Remember, I'm only a text message away. More than happy to get back to you. Also, send me messages on OpenISI. Little bit texting, I can typically get back to you even during my non-office hours. Thank you all for the hard work, and I'll see you all in class. Have a good one.